Welcome to the first edition of Bad Hotel Coffee Chat for the 2014 Ticats season. I'm in Regina, Saskatchewan. Again, obviously, this is where I spent the Grey Cup last November for a week, and we're back here again for 4 or 5 days as the Ticats play the Rough Riders on Sunday, and then stay here for a few days before traveling to Edmonton to play the Eskimos on Friday. So, I wasn't actually looking forward to this trip a great deal, to be honest with you. Having spent a week here in Regina in November, the idea of coming back here again wasn't all that appealing. But I must say, yesterday the weather was pretty good. It was nice, and I was able to get a run around Wascana Lake and went to the farmers market downtown. And when the weather's good, I actually enjoy Regina quite a bit. When the weather isn't so good, it's really not all that enjoyable to be here. And during the Grey Cup, which was so much work and so stressful, at the end of a long season, I was tired and sick. I just didn't have as good a time as I'd hoped to. And this trip so far, anyway, has been somewhat enjoyable. The farmers market downtown Regina was really great. Lots of food vendors and crafts and all kinds of really interesting stuff. It was terrific, and it's opening it on Wednesday, so I'm gonna go back and check out a few more things. I'll be doing another Run Rewards post probably sometime this week, so I'll show you some of the cool stuff I found. In terms of the football, there's really not a whole lot that I can really say about this Saskatchewan Hamilton game that hasn't really been said or written. One of the things about first games of the year is essentially you spend 6 months between the end of last season and the beginning of this season writing one giant preview story. I mean, everything basically that we've done leading up to today has been previewing this game in some respects. So we were talking to Coach Austin yesterday at the stadium, and that just there wasn't anything new really to ask him. I mean, I feel like this game has been very well previewed and very well covered. So, the only thing that I think is worth updating is the fact that the weather is going to be awful. It's raining outside right now. It's really gray. The winds are up. It's going to be a factor in the game, and so I think, if I had to make a call on that, I would say it probably favors Saskatchewan a little bit, because their offensive line is quite strong, and even though their running back is unproven, I think that they'll try to run the football effectively. Now, obviously, CJ Gable's a tremendous running back, but I think at this point we still have some questions about the effectiveness of that offensive line. So for the Ticats anyway, so that would be sort of how I think the weather might influence this game. I am drinking coffee, believe it or not. This hotel coffee comes out of a Keurig machine. It's not, horrendous, I suppose, but I think these things are aptly titled. It's pretty tough to get a really genuinely good cup of coffee in these hotels, and this really isn't. This is, on the scale of things, is not too bad. It's still not a tremendous cup of coffee. What can I tell you? The only other interesting thing that happened yesterday, well, lots of interesting things, but was the fact that there was no Western pizza at the walkthrough yesterday. Now, regular followers of this blog will remember that I'm a huge fan of Western Pizza, which is a pizza chain here in Regina. They have this sort of deep dish pizza where they layer like tons of meat underneath the cheese and then put the cheese on top, and it's spectacular. And they have it at walkthrough every year that I've been here, and I've taken pictures and talked about it and so on and so forth. But it didn't show up yesterday until after I and most of the other people had already left. So I didn't get any Western pizza. And to be honest with you, that's probably a good thing, because as much as I enjoy Western pizza, it has a tendency to provide me with a substantial degree of gastrointestinal distress. And given the fact that we were at the start of a fairly long road trip where I will be eating on the run for almost a week or over a week, starting that off with like a base layer of Western pizza probably wouldn't have been the best idea. So it wasn't the worst thing in the world that the Western pizza didn't show up. Okay, we'll have more from the stadium in Regina a couple hours before game time, and until then, enjoy the first game of the year, everybody.